I think the interdimensional space it will be next. I think we're going to start exploring that. I really do. Like,
well, we're doing it with
I've been talking
DMT.
True. I've been talking to too many alien abductees who believe that the aliens are us from, or versions of us from other dimensions.
Well, tell us,
not other space.
Like, let's hear some of these stories. What's really
with the aliens?
Yeah, like, have you heard a story that's kind of like rocked you to your core?
I wish I could say that, but I have met people who are, because I'm such a skeptic. Like I
that's
do
why it's
want
good,
to believe.
Though,
I really do want to believe, and I'm willing to talk to everybody. But I met one person in particular. We talked for like 2 hours before we even got to aliens. Normal stuff, newspapers, just like media, culture. Really, really got down.
And you were like, "Who'd you vote for?" And he was like, "Oh, Biden." Oh, and by the way, I was abducted by aliens.
Oh yeah, basically, I was just like, so about the abduction story. And he's been abducted since he was 9, and he has a support group for UFO abductees or people who've had encounters, and so they share all these stories. But he's been abducted since he was 9, and he has very, very vivid memories of being lifted out of his window, looking over Peekskill, New York, which is the town where the Yellow Brick Road was, the original Yellow Brick Road.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And kind of hovering over the trees. And he believes that the beings that come for him are like avatars for beings that can't travel from other, if they're far away, from like faraway planets. He's like, they're controlling them because they have like a hive mind, and they're like opening his skull. And he says he wakes up feeling these things, and he has a PhD in the spiritual awakening of being abducted. It's fascinating.
Like, he's an actual PhD, or you're just saying figuratively?
No, yeah, not like me, where I bought one for $20. He has an actual one.
So he thinks that they're electromagnetic drones, essentially, like they're piloting.
I don't know if they're electromagnetic. I don't know if he knows. He says he's touched them, and they have a hot sensation. He remembers like recoiling. But this has been happening to him since he was 9.
And they keep coming for him.
Different ones. We all know about the Greys. That's what I asked him. So he also claims to be like a psychic. And I asked him if are the aliens coming. Are you a psychic as a consequence of the abductions, or because you're a psychic? Is that why they're coming to you? Because he would fix computers for a living in like the 70s after he got back from Vietnam. 70s, 80s, he's running around fixing like machines and computers. He never talked about being abducted because there was a stigma. You don't want to talk about that with people. So, but people would keep coming up to him and just talking about being abducted. They had the urge to tell him like their weird, not abduction stories all the time, but like we saw a UFO, something like that. And then, I think his wife might have been the first person he told, after 30 years of not telling anybody. So I want to say I believe him. It sounds crazy. Like his stories sounds legit to me. But I also think sometimes people might confuse horrible dreams and a reoccurring nightmare. But I also have then listened to different psychiatrists who say there's no way to have trauma from such an experience. Like these people who claim to be abducted, they have some type of trauma. So they can be hypnotized and they relive it.
I know people, I've known people throughout my life with schizophrenia. And I have heard stories about weird government abductions and experiments. And I'm just like, the things they say are overtly insane. It's one thing to be like, you need to believe me, man. Guys in suits came to my house yesterday, and I'd be like, okay, but when they say things like they have nanotechnology devices that they've injected me with that cause invisible cameras to circle my head at all times, and I'm like, nothing's happening. Am I missing it? Where is it? Can you tell me where it is? I'm like, that's, objectively nuts.
I have a theory about schizophrenia, though. I think they're plugged in to a mind level that we don't understand.
It's kind of a sad thought, though. Some people may just have misfiring brains, and and they need help. But yeah, I'm like, what if my friend is telling me the truth? They're actually seeing something that's real, and we are just sitting here because look, I've had friends who they can have a conversation, and they can tell you this is a bottle of water. I need to drink water and eat food. I went to work today, and then they'll say something like, I can see the beings. And people will tell them they're crazy and they're schizophrenic, and it's just like, imagine if they really did, like in The Sixth Sense, the kid can see the dead people, but they just tell him he's crazy. Or in Constantine, it's a good example. In Constantine, the movie, he's like growing up, he could see all these things. He could see the angels and the demons, and then nobody believed him. They thought he was crazy, and they put him in hospitals. Imagine being told you're crazy when you're the one who's right because you can see something that people can't.